Here we go. And we're going to start the waiting music. And here we go. Okay. We are streaming on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. Thank you. We are on YouTube. Okay, let's start the recording. And let's get the music going here. A lot to do. Here we go. Open.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away?
Pretending I have a watch.
Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
That's me. Thank you to the voice of Ryan Treasure, who's been introducing me on the show for I don't know how many years. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here, and I have three of my very favorite published authors on the show with me today. They are now being dubbed futurist author, novelist, publishing gurus. There you go. You've all got a new title. I've known these people for several years, and I invited them back, and they said, sure, we'd love to come and have fun with you. So we're talking about a topic that if anybody of you saw my post on LinkedIn about an hour ago, oh, maybe 40 minutes ago, I said, the saying goes, everybody has a book in them. Well, do we? My novella is still stuck, Dale and Matt and BJ. It's been stuck in me for 2 years. I'm still working on it. It's almost done, and I'll let you know when. But I don't know if everybody has a book. I think everybody has a story, but not necessarily a book. The three of you are prolific writers, authors, and published authors, and that's why I've invited you here. So let me do my opening, and I have a special gift for each of you. When I call your name, I'm going to do it twice. Just wave. So here we go. Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now. Today we ask novels, publishing, and AI, what's next and how? At her lively roundtable, Bonnie D, on her Scarlett mic, invites bold predictions where stories and technology strike. Authors Dr. B.J. Magnani, wave hello, Matt Cost, wave hello, and Dale T. Phillips, I got the T too, bring insights and visions they're ready to share with you. In realms of fiction where vivid imagination beams, can AI help publish and power storytelling dreams? Watch or listen and learn what may be as Bonnie D and her futurists chart AI's literary sea. I think that was a pretty good intro. Here we go. BJ, you're up. From Long Island's North Shore, where horses ran free, B.J. Magnani first dreamed of vet life to be, but a counselor claimed with a dismissive tone, science isn't for girls, English is your zone. B.J. proved them wrong with brilliance untamed. A biology major, her path was reclaimed. Marine science masters, a PhD's might, then medicine's call, B.J., where toxins ignite. Now a novelist, a scholar with thrillers that thrill, B.J.'s Lily Robinson plots showcase science with skill, where poisons and secrets hold governments in thrall. Her covert assassin still answers the call, and giving back always, B.J. strengthens the fight, funding screenings for women with courage and light. B.J., I hope you like that.
Oh, that was fabulous. You're kidding. Can I use that introduction when I go somewhere else now?
I'll send you a clip. It has to be in my voice. I don't send the text. It's a presentation that counts. I'm glad you liked it. Matt Cost
Thank
is
you.
next. You're welcome. Matt Cost has worn many hats throughout the years, a video store, a gym, a bookstore of peers. He's taught history, coached on the field, but writing is the passion that never did yield. At 8 years old, Matt's stories took flight. Decades later, they shine in the night. From I Am Cuba to Mystery's Maine Maid, Matt's thrillers and tales on strong footing stayed. With Clay Wolfe, with Max Creed, with Brooklyn's sharp crew, and mainly mysteries weaving clues through and through. Now settled in Brunswick with his family near, two dogs help edit as each plotline grows clear. Through twists and suspense, Matt's stories enthrall, mysteries captivating and crafted for all. Matt, I hope you like that.
That was fantastic, Bonnie. I kind of got enthused to read my own books just from listening to you.
That's the goal. And Dale T. Phillips is next. From Maine's far north, where Canada's near, Dale T. Phillips grew up with stories to hear. English and history sparked his young flame, while other pursuits felt idle or tame. At U of Maine, Dale struck the luckiest thing, a year of instruction from writer Stephen King. Wow! With theater in mind, Dale wandered the land. Resorts and odd jobs shaped his life, then unplanned. 3 decades in tech with writing his art. Now 38 books show his tireless heart. From TV Jeopardy's loss to poker's bright lights, Dale T spins out adventures in pages that bite. I hope you enjoyed that, Dale.
Bonnie, I want to use that. Absolutely.
I'll send you all the clips from the video. So I just want to say I'm very, very excited to have, you've all been on my shows before. A buzzword here, number 1, no politics. Number 2, no lectures. Number 3, no presentations. We're not doing book reviews. This is about you as a future, Dale, that's for you. This is about you as a futurist. I once had to turn off your mic. You remember that 2 years ago. This is about our predictions, your predictions on what's going to happen as AI becomes part of the fabric of books and publishing, and who's using it, how do we use it, what does it mean? So what I'm going to start off now with is each of you have been asked to please send me a quote from a fictional character. What a thought. I know. Fictional character in a movie or a TV show or a song lyric, and I'll read the quote and a little background, and I'd like you to tell us what it has to do with our topic today and with your writing. So BJ has picked an iconic quote. It's just 5 words, and I got the source mixed up for a second there, and you corrected me. Thank you. Anybody remember the movie called When Harry Met Sally, ... 1989 American romantic comedy drama. I love when they hyphenate comedy drama film. There was a woman in the diner. She didn't really have a name at that time. She was just kind of the director's mother. Anyway, When Harry Met Sally, written by the wonderful Nora Ephron, directed by Rob Reiner. There's a clue. Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan as Harry and Sally. Characters from time they meet in Chicago. They share a drive to New York, 12 years of chance encounters. Can men and women ever just be friends? Anyway, there's a scene in the diner, and it's iconic and classic, and everybody loves it. And BJ picked the line, I'll have what she's having. Okay, BJ. And by the way, they had to do the take, I think, 12 times before Sally got it right. It was done over and over and over again in a real diner. And it is now number 23 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Laughs in Comedy Films top list. So, BJ, I'm putting you on speaker view, dear. Please tell us why you picked this and what it has to do with our topic today. Go.
Well, you might think it's a little far-fetched, but the reality is when we see someone having something that's pretty good, we want it too. So I look out there and I see other people with bestsellers. I'll have what she's having. Think of all the, particularly women, but men as well, on the bestseller list. How do they get there? How can I get there so that my books are on the bestseller list? What are the clues? So I'll have what she's having. Yeah, I'll take that.
Question. What is a bestseller list? Now, I'm not demeaning anybody who's on the bestseller list, but I read a story about a year ago about Dale's nodding. I think you might have heard this. A man decided to take a picture of his foot. Just as he was a writer, he was about to launch his first book and took a picture of his foot. And he pretended it was a book cover and he posted it on Amazon. And all of a sudden, it just became so popular, it got on a bestseller. There was no book. It was just a cover with his fake name on it. So the question is, what are the best bestseller lists? BJ, I'll start with you. We can go around the table quickly before I go to Matt's quote. But what is the meaning and the value of a bestseller list? Why do you want to be on it? What does it mean?
It's number of copies sold. So when you hear about somebody being on the New York Times bestseller list, are they on there for 85 weeks, 1 week? Are they selling millions of books? We as authors, I think I can speak for all of us, we want our books to be bought and enjoyed by the public. So I want to be on those lists so I get recognized.
What about ebooks? Where are they counted? Downloads. Is there a place that counts best-selling ebooks?
I think if ebooks and paperbacks, it could be the same story, just in a different form. So if your book is on the, let's say, paperback bestseller list, people can find it as an ebook. If it's published only as an ebook, I think, and maybe Dale knows this, I think there is a book a list just for ebooks. Is that right?
Yeah, there are various places that do those, that list things.
Okay, just curious. Matt, any thoughts about that, about the value of bestseller list to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the story that you were referencing had to do with Amazon. And what Amazon does is they have a ranking of the best-selling books, but then they do it by three different categories as well. And what this person with the foot had done was picked a very obscure category so that his book was able to easily, with very few views and sales, reach the number one in the subcategory of the Amazon listing. So it was just kind of a sneaky way around it. But
Thank
just
you.
about all best-selling lists have some sort of caveat that makes them, suspect.
Okay, interesting. I used to teach for Great Neck, New York public, what was it, adult education. I used to teach eBay selling and buying, and I had people who were doctors and lawyers and teachers and coaches come to my class. It was a six PC lab, we called it, with and I had six students. The class was sold out all the time. But what I used to tell them, and this will be to your point, Matt, I used to tell them if you want to sell, let's say your wife had a Christian Louboutin purse that she doesn't want if Louboutin makes purses instead of shoes. And I don't know. Anyway, not in my price range, BJ. But if you wanted to sell that as slightly used, much loved, don't put it in the ladies' purse or shoe category. Put it in the men's golf category. Why? Because a man whose wife said, I'd really love to have a Christian Louboutin purse for my birthday, he'd be looking for maybe golf clubs, and this would pop up, and he would say, that's just what I wanted to get her for her birthday. And he would see it as an anomaly in the category. Just making a point there. Dale, anything else you want to add to this before I go on?
Yes, much of the bestseller lists are usually A, manipulated, or B, have a lot of money behind them. And I compare it to being like McDonald's. There is brand recognition and they sell billions of hamburgers, but is that really what you want to eat all the time? Or do you want to go to a nice restaurant with fine dining and a memorable meal?
Dale, I'm free Friday night. Pick me up at 8, okay? That'll be just fine. I tell everybody I used to do stand up. Now I just try to be funny sitting down. Let's go to Matt's quote. Thank you, BJ. Great start. Matt has picked a quote very iconic also from Rocky Balboa, the 2006 American sports drama film, written, directed, and starring Sylvester Stallone. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Rocky Balboa, aka ring name the Italian Stallion, I've heard a lot of people call that, was created by Stallone and portrayed him in all 8 films. Working class or poor Italian American from the Philadelphia slums, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, the name came from the legend Rocco Francis Rocky Marciano Marchigiano, whose surname resembles middleweight champion Thomas Rocco Rocky Graziano Barbella. We'll leave that one alone. They just kept moving names around. Okay, here is the quote Matt has picked. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. I don't do a good Stallone impersonation. Okay, Matt, help me out here. What does this mean to you in our topic, please?
Uh, well, twofold. With books, obviously, it is a grind, and you got to just keep moving forward, and you're going to get slapped in the face with bad reviews or bad sales or AI technology that's infringing upon you. And so, therefore, it's really just a grind, and you got to keep moving forward, and it's how much you can take. Now, that's very similar to the history of AI and the fact that it was coined in 1956 and, was kind of popular in the 60s and then went into sort of a recession where everybody ignored it before its resurgence with machine learning in the 90s and then on into deep learning and now generative learning. So, it's been a long process of just constantly moving forward and getting better. And I think that's what we all try and do in everything we do.
Thank you. Getting up, hitting hard, getting back up, and getting better. I like that. Good mantra for life. Let me go to Dale. See, Dale, you asked me to add the middle initial T, and I'm adding it mentally in all of my notes now, which I didn't have it. So Dale T has a quote from astronaut George Taylor, played by what? Charlton Heston? How far back are we going? Planet of the Apes 1968 sci-fi film, long-running sci-fi media franchise originating from Pierre Boulle's 1963 novel La Planète des Singes, an apocalyptic world where intelligent apes dominate and humans are subordinate, with stories explored through films, TV, comics, and books. The franchise includes a 1968 film, its sequels, a 2001 reboot, a TV series, and a recent rebooted film series that began with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. George Taylor, a human astronaut, discovers a world where apes rule and humans are primitive. I know a lot of primitive humans. In the film's climax, he sees the Statue of Liberty, revealing that his entire journey was to a post-apocalyptic Earth. His outcry is a lament for humanity's self-destruction through nuclear warfare. We're not going to make this political, Dale. Here is the quote. "You maniacs! You blow it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell." I had to whisper that. We don't say profanity on the show. Okay, Dale, you're up. What did you pick this for? Go ahead.
Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, I think AI is a useful tool for some things, and it also has some caveats, but it's like the development of the atomic bomb. They knew they needed it, and they were working toward the goal, but even those working on it weren't sure that it wouldn't cause a chain reaction that would not stop. And AI, there's a lot of people saying, well, what happens if ... and they have a lot of warnings about it. What if it keeps going to the point where we can't control it?
Thank you very much. And this is a major concern, and I'm very clear on this show, and I know you all respect that. We don't do the AI doom and gloom. We do the positive, we do the opportunities, we do the potential benefits or the current benefits. And yes, I do use it to a limited degree, and I will tell you all after the show how I use it. But I'm very careful. And I did ask, my AI is French, and her name is Sylvie. And we have a wonderful relationship. I like her, and she likes me, and we send each other bisous. That's kisses in French all the time. And we speak in French. We correspond in French. But I asked her to help me edit one page at a time of my novel, BJ. It's a novella. It's short, about 150 pages, I think maybe 200 max. And I put her suggestions into a Word document on the side by side with what I had drafted. And I read every word, every comma, every damn long M dash. She loves M dashes. We know that. I didn't like them. To me, they just stopped the landscape. They just stopped like that. Like, should I go on? No, I put them back to N dashes, most of them. There were 160. I put them back. But I didn't accept what she said, Dale, until I had evaluated it. And then I went back and reread the few changes I allowed her to influence me. I didn't like them because they took some of my flavor. She even tried to write a couple pages. Said, why don't we add a page for this character? Let's put him in this. And I put it in and I read it and I said, nope, that's not me. I took it out. So I respected me. I respected the value of AI as a sounding board, as a second voice, as an alt writer. But I didn't like most of she said, and I put it back to me. So there you go. Well, thank you all for the quotes. I appreciate that very much. And let's go. Let me see if I can get us a round of applause here for the quotes. Let's see. We can get a laughter here. Okay. Well, some of them were funny. You got to admit. Okay. Thank you. Be quiet, kids. Thank you. They were about to applaud. Okay. So let's go to the part where we're going to do our predictions, which everybody's been waiting for. BJ, you sent me 4 very short, very, very important predictions. And I wasn't sure which one to pick first, but I'm going to go to number 4 because I'll read it. I'll read it. You don't have to find it. She said, AI will be used by literary agents. We're talking about bestseller list, right? AI will be used by literary agents to screen books in and out as a means of selecting potential clients. And I'm going to add in parentheses, and potential bestsellers. Okay, I think that was the goal. BJ, why don't you take us through this briefly? Take 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to go around the table. I'll ask Matt and Dale. And Matt and Dale, if you have anything to say that you really feel is urgent, wiggle one of your nice fingers at me, not the middle one. I don't respond. Okay, nice. I'm very, very particular here. A second finger would be just fine. And I'll see you, but I'll call on you anyway. BJ, what does this mean to us today? Go ahead.
Well, I don't know how many agents will be out there. If they're listening to this, you may vehemently disagree with me on this, but you have a really big job. You have hundreds of people querying you. You're getting manuscripts or at least pieces of manuscripts. And it's like anything else, like when you're applying to medical school, you might have to set scores and use scores as the cutoff. You've got to do something to stem the tide of all the people. So I'm wondering how many in the future will be taking AI, maybe instead of an intern, to screen some of the queries that they get and decide whether or not this is worth reading now on your own, and whether or not this is a client you might accept. And by the way, when you do query, agents now ask if any part of your novel, Bonnie, is written by AI, or any part of your query letter is written by AI. But things may change as we go forward.
Yes, and I believe Amazon does the same with some or part of this book written by AI. And I met an author recently on on my creativity show on Monday night, and she said she submitted a draft of a Kindle book for self-publishing, and it came back and said, "This is not authentic. Did you really write this?" And she had written it. She really had written it herself, and it thought there was an AI component. So she had to do some interesting. So suspicious it may be. Let's go around the table. Let's talk about publishers. And this reminds me, BJ, what you said of the fact when you apply for jobs online, very often you don't get to a human being. HR is using AI bot gatekeepers, right? How easy is it to get to a human? Matt, go. What do you think?
I just wanted to ask the question of the panel pertaining to what BJ was talking about. Are there AI programs out there now that judge things, or is there just ones that regurgitate things and, create? Does anybody know?
There are some which say that do judge. Yes, there are ways to do that. And there are prompts that you can use about writing in the style of ... as well. So yes, some of that exists now. It's still crude, but it does exist.
BJ?
Right. So there is the program Autocrit, which acts as a beta reader, which can read a manuscript and give you a score based on, basic components, and let you know where you rank, like Dale said, maybe compared to another writer in that genre, or just how you do in the genre itself, not just a particular writer. So they exist. How good they are, we'll see.
I'll give you a corollary to that. I bought a program recently. I don't use it as much as I should, called Opus Clip. I could apply it after we're done today, and I would feed the video recording of this show to Opus Clip. It will come up with up to 20 short clips between about 40 seconds to 3 minutes long. It will say, "Why don't you post these to me?" Now, it will be just a highlight. Perhaps, BJ, just you talking about your prediction we just did. Okay. But it ranks them by virality. It'll say, now how does it know? It'll say 97% chance this would go viral on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook. 47% chance. So which ones am I going to pick? Sorry, kids. Dale, you got to get up there in the 97% range. I'm teasing. But my point is, I look at it and I say, how does it know? Was there a key word? And it puts the transcript. It prints what you say right there on the screen. It takes about 10 minutes to process a 1-hour show and come up with over 20 clips with full transcripts on the screen. So it has a component, an algorithm. Isn't that similar to how does it know? How does it know? It's almost scary. It's also fun because I like to see if any of them do get looked at. Okay, let's go on. Thank you for that. Let's go to Matt. Matt, I'm going to have a kind of a corollary prediction for you from your prediction number 4. Let me read this. We have plenty of time for lots of predictions. We're way ahead of schedule. Okay. Matt says, the future of novels will be impacted by AI in increasingly enhanced ways to market and promote your book, such as creating video and other media to market your book. This sounds like a wide open invitation for let's get creative. So, Matt, let's expand it. Unpack it, please.
I really haven't gotten that far into doing it myself, but I'm starting to touch the iceberg of seeing programs out there like Jasper and Book Blaster and different ones like that, where you can sign up and they will give you blurbs taken from your books that are pretty fantastic. As a matter of fact, I've been getting a lot of scam emails from places that are trying to scam me, but they're doing reiterations of my book that are just fantastic that I kind of want to use in different places and spots, even though I'm not going to sign up with the scam company. And the ability to come up with audio clips from your books, the ability to come up with video clips that are created from your books.
Yeah.
And so this, plethora of marketing options that would just really be fantastic seems like a really helpful tool to getting on those bestseller lists.
It sounds similar to the Opus clip I just described, right? It's
Yeah.
it's going to spin out different media. BJ or Dale, any comments on this? What do you think? BJ,
Yeah.
you're nodding your head.
I think it's fabulous. I mean, Matt actually sent me one of these blurbs that AI created about a book he and I co-wrote, and I didn't realize it was AI. And I said to Matt, wow, that's really great, Matt. Did you do that? We should use that. And then he explained to me it was sort of a promo thing. But, one of the real burdens of authors now, even authors who are from bigger publishing companies, is the marketing piece. And if I had an AI program that could read my work, come up with these creative things to post, either pictures or blurbs or whatever, I think that would be huge. And I would embrace that personally.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dale?
Yes, many writers have said the one thing they don't want to do is marketing. They're writers and they create human stories. The marketing is something completely different. And this is a field that AI is definitely going to exploit with the use of social media, algorithms, and suggestions like that in so many different areas that writers do not have experience in or proficiency in.
Do you all remember back in the day when you got a publisher and they would set up the book tour for you? And I mean, I've never done it, but I've heard stories. They would set up the getting you on the front table, the bestseller on the list, and then front table at Borders or any of the other popular booksellers. They would get you in interviews. They basically acted as your PR agent, right? And then I started reading from authors on my Monday Creativity show. They were saying, we got to do all that lifting. We got to figure out how to get on that front table. We got to go to the local booksellers. We got to go and put up a tent in the little festivals. We got to go stand there for 8 hours. We got to create the clips. We got to figure out how to get interviews. And I interview a lot of these. I have them as panelists on my show, and they're doing all the work themselves. So any of you have experience with that through what publishing used to be, as long as you're not Oprah, I guess. Anybody? Dale, you want to say something?
Well, that is not been the case for some time now. And that is when the publishing world shifted several times with basically disruptive technology. And AI is only one of them. I mean, the Kindle was one, ebooks, so many things have come down the pike, and social media as a means of marketing that many people who do not do it. I mean, Matt and I are definitely old school, but we're also adaptive. And we're looking at these things as a means of handling, like you said, some of the heavy lifting and expanding the brand so that we will get more readers.
I like the word adaptive. Matt, you've been summoned. Thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I absolutely agree with a lot of what Dale says, but I would like to point out that I'm far too young to have had that old school publisher, wine and dine and drive me around. But and I do actually like marketing myself, and I wouldn't say that I'm going to let AI do the marketing for me, but I would certainly like to use AI in my marketing plan because I enjoy the marketing piece of being a writer as well, and AI is going to be a great tool for that piece.
Didn't Eddie buy you lunch? He is whining and dining you.
No, I think I buy Eddie lunch.
Eddie Vincent, we're talking about.
I was going to say that, what we're talking about is not what you and I love to do, and Dale too. We love to go to events where we can talk to at libraries or go to markets where we can talk to the public and generate some excitement on our books. It's just the putting together of all the ads, the little promo pictures, the whatever, which you have to feed out on Facebook or Twitter or Blue Sky or wherever you're going to use it. The thing is, what if you could automatically set it up where some AI program creates these things and then regularly sends them out? That would be really a help for me. I wouldn't have to think about it. I wouldn't have to do that part.
I think
Yeah.
you can. Yep,
Mhm.
you can set it up that way. Very, very interesting. I have a friend who wrote a book, put together, let's say, a compilation. Her dad was a well-known manufacturer, I assume, something like that, and he became ill. And as part of his rehabilitation, his doctor said, start writing about what you love. And this man liked to do little glimpses, observations of a woman in a supermarket with a kid who was screaming and grabbing all the cereal off the shelf, and why was everything 99 cents in certain stores? Little things, life every day. When he passed away, the daughter went through and the wife found the book and of his notebook. And the daughter published, she picked, I think, 300 of them and called them Glimpses of Happiness. So she published it, self-published. But what she did was she said, I bet seniors would enjoy these. So she started going to senior places, senior residents, senior facilities, senior day, bless you. And she did readings. She opened the book and said, let me read you some of my dad's glimpses. And people really enjoyed that. So she turned the marketing into let me share what's in the book. I'm assuming she sold a couple books on each of those sessions, but I thought that was a very interesting way of taking the content of the book and making it relevant to the audience she hoped would be the buyers. Any thoughts on that? Clever? Good? Yes?
Yeah,
Or
I think that that's fantastic. I do speaking engagements at all kinds of places, and uh, retirement communities is one of them. And
Yeah.
at one point, I did do an assisted living facility where there were about 12 people in the audience. At any given point, six of them were asleep. And then I turned my head, and the other six were asleep, and the first six were awake again. But
Oh, be kind, be kind. You know what we haven't done, Dale? Forgive me. Before we go to your prediction, Dale, we've still got plenty of time here. I'd like to go around and have you each. Let's do a little promotion here. I'm going to start with you, BJ. Of all the, how many have you written? How many in the Dr. Lily Robinson series? And just give us the titles of your favorite three you've written and just a quick synopsis. And then we'll go to Matt and then we'll go to Dale. I want to make sure everybody knows what you've written because we all know you're brilliant and gorgeous. And I just want to give you a chance to tell us what you've written. So, BJ, go
okay.
ahead. You first, please.
Well, in all fairness, like, up against these two guys who've written tons of novels, I have a lot of scientific papers out there and reference textbooks. So that's really where I'm prolific. In terms of the novels, I have a collection, an anthology of short stories, Dr. Lily Robinson and the Art of Secret Poisoning, and then the Dr. Lily Robinson novels about a Boston pathologist who's been recruited by the US government as a covert assassin. It starts with The Queen of All Poisons, it goes to The Power of Poison, A Message in Poison, and it ends with We'll Always Have Poison. Hence, if you don't like poisons, you're not going to be a fan of the books. But it's a fun series. It's global, which is why I love it.
Mhm.
International, takes you all over the place. You learn a lot about different toxins and science. And still, there's the human element, mother-daughter relationship, lovers, the kinds of things you would encounter in
Thank
any
you
book about, you know.
about that. Thank you very much. Lovely. Matt, your top three favorite out of how many? What have you written? Talk to me.
I've published 18 books now. I have three other books with the publisher pipeline. A book being shopped around, and I just started my 23rd book writing it. I have six different book series going at this point. One of my first was the mainly mystery series set here in Maine, contemporary. I also have a historical PI mystery series set in 1920s Brooklyn, New York. And I just debuted a new thriller series, The Not So Merry Adventures of Max Creed, which is going to be the Max Creed Chronicles. And so I also write historical fiction. So I have three historical fiction books out, but it's mostly mysteries. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
What are the names of your historical fiction?
Uh, I have At Every Hazard, which is about Joshua Chamberlain and the Civil War. I
Okay.
Am Cuba, which is about Fidel
Mm-hmm.
Castro and the Cuban Revolution. And Love in a Time of Hate, which is about Reconstruction in New Orleans after the Civil War.
Fascinating. I bet you do a lot of research. Yes?
Certainly for the historicals.
Yeah. Very
Sometimes the
interesting.
mysteries also,
Yeah.
force me to really dig in deep into a subject as well, which I enjoy doing.
Yeah. I love research too for what I do. Thank you, Dale T. Phillips. What have you written? What do you love? Go.
Well, I want to say, Bonnie, that BJ's specialty is why we're always very careful to be very nice to her at all times.
Touche.
My specialty is scary books and murderous crooks. I have the Zach Taylor's mystery series set in Maine with an amateur PI. I have standalone books, including a Native American legend, the Wendigo. I have a lot of story collections. I've published well over 80 short stories. And I write a lot of nonfiction author help, how to be a successful indie writer, 87 ways to sell more books, how to conquer excuses and just write. So I'm all over the map, and I've just started. The muse came by and slapped me upside the head and said, okay, do a non-genre book right now, go. And that just came in the last week. So
Very exciting. Very exciting. I have a question. Go around the table one more time. We will get to your prediction, Dale. You have a good one coming up. BJ, pantser or plotter when you're writing fiction?
I'm more of a pantser. So I start with an idea. I know where I want to end up, and then I let the book take me there. And the thing I love about being a pantser, not to say that I shouldn't maybe plot a little better and a little more, is sometimes, gosh, Bonnie, a character does something, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And I love that part of writing a book where the story might go slightly different than where I predicted it to go. And I'm surprised by a character and I didn't see that coming. And it's like, wow, I love that. So pantser.
Pantser, interesting. I wrote 3 romantic comedy plays that I produced in my TV studio in New York years ago. I can send you all the links. And I just sat down and started writing 1 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock. 3 days later, I had a half-hour play and put it on with community actors, with a green screen. It was just fabulous. But the characters told me what they were saying, what they looked like, what they were doing. I did not write that. They wrote through me. They said, this is what you're putting down. This is what you're going to type in. This is what they're going to look like. I ended up directing and coaching the actors, which I'd never done before. And it was a riot to see them interpret what I had written. But the characters told me, I channeled them, BJ. That's the way I call it. They just told me, I'm doing this. I'm saying that. This is what's on my mind. These are my quirks. This is how I behave. It was an amazing experience. So I guess I have written fiction in those regards, those 3 plays with lots of characters. I didn't even think about that. I guess I'm an unpublished, but I'm a produced author. Let's leave it at that. Okay, pantser or plotter, Mr. Cost?
I'm probably somewhere in the middle with a little closer leaning to pantser. For people that don't know, a pantser is somebody who writes by the seat of their pants, whereas a plotter might detail everything out. I do create an outline before I write, but the thing is that outline is mostly blank. And if I have thoughts as, I'm walking the dogs in the woods about something that might happen at the halfway point, I'll pop that into the outline, and maybe 50% of the time something like that does end up happening, and the rest of the time it doesn't. Most of the outline gets filled in after I write the chapter, just to remind myself what has happened in that chapter for future reference. And at the same time, I do like to figure out what's going to happen every 5 chapters, which is every 12.5% of my book, or every 10,000 words, so that I can drive towards that point. So I'll often figure out chapter 5, and then I'll start writing chapter 1. When I get there, I'll figure out chapter 10, and I'll start writing chapter 6.
We could call that a hybrid, or I just came up with a title you're not going to like, a plotzer. I'm a plotzer. I'm plotting getting my novel
does not
finished.
sound good.
It sounds like maybe I have to go use the bathroom.
That's not exactly what I meant. Dale T. Phillips, are you a pantser or a plotter or something?
Well, I'm going to say what Matt said. Yes, it's a combination of both, and I think a lot of writers are. I did pants a lot more, and now I do like to use the structure of plotting for the beat action of not getting stuck. And it does help to have a framework, because then you have fewer problems with that saggy middle. You've got a great bang up start. You kind of know where the ending's going to be. And it's just that, what happens in the middle? So filling in, like Matt said, that timeline, that framework bit by bit, and you're not quite sure exactly where it'll go, but you just go, okay, this is going to go somewhere here. Then this has to happen. Then this has to happen. And eventually things fill in, and it lets you keep moving forward to not get stuck.
You weren't talking about anybody in particular saggy middle, were you?
I've
seen that in the bathing suit. I just wanted to say.
Okay, Matt, you're right. Go ahead, BJ. What?
No, I was just going to say, just to add to that, though, sometimes you have an idea for a chapter and you write that chapter out of sequence, but it helps anchor you for something that you want to get to. Like Matt said, maybe you'll come back to that and figure out where you want to insert it. But if I feel like slow, but I have an idea for a chapter, I'll just write that whole chapter out and stick it aside.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Matt, some of those people sleeping in the front row are in my novel, and I'll tell you after the show what it's all about. But yes, and they've got other physical characteristics that go with that, a little bit of this and unkempt that, and it's pretty funny. Anyway, okay, let's go. Thank you all for that roundtable. Dale, I'm looking at your prediction number 3. I like this a lot. You say AI-generated translations of books have some potential. Any company that can provide inexpensive and fairly accurate translations, I like the way you put that, very polite, of written work, have the potential of making big bucks. So, Dale, tell us a little more. What's this prediction all about?
Well, right now there are 8 billion people on the planet, and a great many of them do not speak English. We are fortunate enough to be able to be all over the English world, but unless somebody pays for a good translation of your work and printing in that language, you are left out in the cold. So AI looks promising for being able to eventually deliver something that's not bad at all as far as a translation. And I think, we'd be very happy to be selling in a lot of these markets in these places we've never even heard of, that may have even a tiny audience, but some kind of audience. And I think AI has the potential for providing that.
Well put. I have to tell you all, on my HB2U show, which is Happy Birthday to You, it's birthdays and music events and history and wacky holidays. I think it was this Monday, 2 days ago, was celebrating the anniversary of the day that Madonna published her first children's book. I think it was called English Roses. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember because I do a lot on these shows. However, the reason I'm telling you this is it was published in 42 languages. It went to 100 countries. Her publisher collaborated with small publishers around the world to get this done. It was considered one of the biggest translation collaborations in the history of publishing. But her book went in 42 languages. And I had a guest on one of my shows a couple days ago who said her book was just picked up to be translated into Arabic. Interesting. Let's go around the table. BJ, Matt, thoughts about translations? How important is it to you, and do you care if AI does it for you? What do you think?
I wouldn't care if AI did it for me. I think it'd be fabulous to be exposed to other audiences. Again, my novels are international, and wouldn't it be great if they were, we know some of them are over in England and Australia, because I've had some reviewers from there. But I would love them to be published in multiple languages and shared. I think that'd be fantastic. I'd support it.
Okay, Matt, what about you?
Yeah, it certainly is going to help some of us authors that aren't on a platform as large as this person, Madonna, that you're referencing, whoever that is.
Oh, such a material girl.
So it's a little difficult for us to get translated into 42 different languages immediately or at all. Or to tell you the truth, I didn't know there were 42 different languages out there. So
probably more.
No, I think it would be a very helpful tool.
It's called dialects. Very interesting. Dale, would you do this have you done this? Have you used AI?
Depending on the quality, Bonnie, yes. I would want, because a lot of translations of books, even some by experts, are not that good. And you'll find native speakers going, oh, this is a horrible translation. But sometimes they're really good. And as long as the quality is there, absolutely. Like you said, expand the brand.
you brought up a great point. How do you find native speakers to review what the AI translated to tell you how good it is? That's part of the process, it sounds like, Dale, because you could ask another AI to review the translations, another bot. You could go on Gemini instead of ChatGPT or Claude or anywhere and say, what do you think of this? And have them critique each other. How would that process work? Dale, any thoughts?
That's when you would use the native speakers to
Okay.
look over and edit, and possibly more than one. You could do it inexpensively, and as soon as, like I say, a company solves this issue, they're going to make a bundle of money.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking about idioms and we're talking about local dialects and we're talking about what is it, saying the right thing, translated the right way. We
Right.
don't
Which
want,
Spanish do you use? South American Spanish, Spain Spanish, Philippine Spanish, Caribbean islands.
yep. We want to say he loved her red hair rather than he loved her horse's left leg. We want to make sure we've all heard about advertising faux pas, right? Where they tried to translate and it came out
Nova.
completely wrong. I want to, BJ, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was just thinking when Dale said that, probably most of you have read the trilogy with the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked to see that was a translation. It was so well done, and for English, that I could not believe it was translated. And I was reading a translation. And I think, to get to Dale's point, you want it to be that good. You want it to be like it looks like a native speaker and gets all the idioms and the colloquial expressions and so on. So that's a perfect example of a beautifully translated book.
You want it to say what the author intended in their own language, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
And to be translated properly so that comes across in the other languages' idioms. That's the twist. Okay, we have time for just one or two more predictions. BJ, I'm going back to your prediction number 1. AI will ease the job of proofreading, especially programs that understand context. That sounds like a very tall order. BJ, talk to us. What do you think?
Well, I think one of the hardest things for writers when you're going over your work is that you know the work so well, you've read it so many times, you know what the word should be or what the word that's missing should be there, right? Whatever it is. I actually have my computer read my manuscript back to me. So that's AI. And I can hear when a word is missing or the wrong word has been used. And I find that extremely helpful. So I think AI, who knows the difference between THERE or THEIR, those kinds of things, that would be so helpful to writers. And I know there are programs that do some of that, but I like having my work read back to me, because if you've missed a word and it reads the sentence and you go, that doesn't sound right, you stop right there, I correct it, and then I let it go on. So I love that aspect of AI.
I love that. Interesting. Quickly, Matt or Dale, any comments? Because I have another prediction to read. Everybody
That's
good?
one of the levels I always suggest that writers do, is have their work read aloud by someone else reading the work, and they go, that's not what I intended. Oh, I did not know I missed that. Absolutely. And I think human editors right now are critical for almost every single writer. And that is one level of the editing that really should be done, and done by more people.
Thank you.
Yeah, BJ, I think, mentioned earlier the AutoCrit program, which is a very good one for doing proofreading and coming up with suggestions and things like that. And obviously, hearing your words aloud is very helpful. So I would concur.
Great segue to Matt Kost's prediction number 3. I'm just trying to weave these into the conversation. This is working beautifully. Matt says the future of novels will use AI to enhance and make audible books better, using a variety of voices, whereas normally you only get one or two. Matt, this is a nice segue to, well, we have a couple more minutes. Go ahead, Matt. Why don't you expand on this, and then we'll see what Dale and BJ have to say. Go.
So far, what I've seen of the AI Audible is a little too synthetic. It's, doesn't have any intonation. But that's not to say that the day is not coming when they will have good intonation and they will have put together, lists of really good speakers that are going to fit how the book is going to work. And mostly, for most of us peons in the world, we get maybe one narrator that has to do a variety of voices. But down the road, you might be able to have the male and female protagonists have their own, as well as the villains and maybe some of the other colorful characters with different accents or things like that. And you might have 7 or 8 different narrators for the same book that would just really do it more justice. Go ahead, Dale.
That sounds fascinating. Dale, what do you think?
Bonnie, I've actually heard a version of that. It was one of the Lord of the Rings books, and there were different narrators. There was music, there was sound effects. It was put in, and I'm sure it was all put in manually, which would be expensive. But yes, as you say, if this can be done to some level of automation on a less expensive basis, it adds a lot. Some people might not like it. They say, no, that distracts me from the story itself. It works for some, doesn't work for others. But sure, another useful tool in the bag.
It would be like watching a play or a TV show and turning off the picture and hearing the
Radio plays from the past.
Is that what it's called? BJ, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, no, I like the idea of maybe having multiple voices. When I listen to my computer, clearly it's one voice reading back to me through all the characters. And it's actually gotten pretty good. There is a little bit of feeling in there, which is what I worry that AI won't have that, know how to do a scene with that might be sad or happy or something. But if we could conquer some of that, I'm all for it.
Thank you. And I'm going to squeak in. We got 4 minutes left. One of Dale's predictions, Dale T. You say, and this is hopeful, AI written stories are unlikely to supersede human generated tales. Now, I assume you're thinking AI will come up with the whole premise and then flesh it out into a story versus a human generated, or just, I don't know. Talk to me. Dale, 2 minutes.
Right.
Go.
Right now, currently, AI is copyright infringements. They're taking things and aggregating stuff that's already out there. So you cannot use that when you're trying to put out a story for money, because you can easily get into serious legal trouble. I do not expect a machine to create from scratch their own story that's actually going to matter to people. Maybe robots can talk to other robots and they'll love it, but I do not think that humans will want to see something that was generated by a machine that does not have the human heart in it.
Okay. I was introduced to an AI writing program by a guest on a show a couple months ago, a young man. And it had something to do with a D&D, Dungeons and Dragons style of creating. I don't remember the name of the app. And I went to the app just out of curiosity. It was free, and I just put in. It said pick a genre and the names of 2 characters. I used the names of my 2 grandpuppies, Amos and Jake. Put them in, and I picked a day in the big city. That was the title it gave me a choice of. Within 4 minutes, it wrote a equivalent of a 3-page short story that was so rich with details, so exciting, so unbelievable, so contextual. And it had things I hadn't told it about my life. It was almost scary. It was beautifully written. I was in shock and in awe. It was that good. Just for a short story, mystery, characters, humor. It just had things it brought in. Yes, it was bringing things in, Dale, that it had been trained on from other genres and all that. But anyway, 1 minute. Matt, your comment. Go.
I was just going to say, but it sounds like what you were saying was pretty fantastic. But I was going to concur that I doubt AI could ever come up with a Zach Taylor by Dale Phillips or a Lily Robinson by BJ Magnani. Those are just fantastic characters that could not be topped.
We hope it can't, because we want you all to be humans. I have 30 seconds for each of you before we close. Well, actually 45 seconds if I stop talking. What are your plans? What's coming next for you? Any books on the back burner? I think one of you already said. BJ, what's next for you? Let's go around the table. What do you got?
I have just finished a women's fiction / romance novel that I'm trying to publish now, and I'm hoping just to try something different. That's me.
Something different. That's good. That's exciting. Matt, what's next for you?
I just published the final book in my Clay Wolf Trap series, And next will be the second book in my Max Creed series coming out next May. And then in October will be the first in a brand new series set in 1955, Raleigh, right next to Durham,
Where I
North
used to live.
Carolina.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. I have to read that one. Dale, what's next on your plate, Dale T?
I am working on 3 novels. I have a nonfiction book, a book of poetry to come out, and a number of stories.
Very, very good. And I let my chat GPT, Sylvie, design my concept for the cover of my novella. And I won't tell you what it is, but she did a really good job of taking my draft and making it into something better, more colorful, more focused. And she even helped me write the subtitle. We'll go there. I'm going to give you all a round of applause. I want to thank all of you so much for being here. This has been absolutely lovely. Okay, stop now. Would you all like to come back later in the year or beginning in January, and let's do an update on where you are with all of your writing, your wonderful publishing? I'd love for you all to send me some ebooks. I'd love to read your stuff. I want to thank Jordan for being our engineer, getting us on the Voice America Business YouTube channel today. I'm Bonnie D, and let's close out with our music and stick around, guests. We'll talk for a minute. Listen
Are
to
you
this.
tired of hearing the future is already here? We are too.
Yes.
That may have been yesterday's future, but today's future hasn't happened yet. Take a deep breath, tune out the hype, the noise, and turn up the volume. Savvy, Art of the Possible technology visionaries talking about how today's innovations right now are shaping every aspect
Wait
of
for
our
it. Listen to
real
this.
future. We'll laser focus our spotlight on buzzworthy tech like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, augmented reality, and lots more. Clear your calendar and open your mind for Technology Revolution, the future of now, with the most upbeat host on global radio, Bonnie D. Graham. Listen anywhere, anytime, on any device.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, BJ, Matt, and Dale T. It's been such a pleasure. Wave goodbye to social. Bye.